here tonight for the Garden City Community College Board of Trustees Candidate Forum, hosted by the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Mark Hind, Government Affairs Committee Chairman and Board Member for the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce. Rick Tomachek, sitting to my right, is Vice President of the Chamber. He will be the timekeeper for this evening. John Hahn, an Ambassador and Manager of the United Wireless Office in Garden City and Chamber Ambassador Chair, will be taking written questions from the audience. So if you have a question that you'd like to present, please raise your hand and John will make sure he gets you a card. This forum tonight is for 3 seats in the Garden City Community College Board of Trustees. Each candidate will have up to 5 minutes for the opening statement. Names were pre-drawn to determine who will give opening statements first. Following the opening statements, the candidates will be asked questions prepared by the Chamber Government Affairs Committee, members of the Chamber, the Garden City Telegram, and the community. If time permits, questions from the audience will be asked. If you have a question, please raise your hand and John will provide you a card to write your question. Those questions will be handed to myself and we'll see if we have time. Candidates will have no more than 2 minutes to answer each question. Candidates will be notified when there is 1 minute and then again at 30 seconds left for their answer. And then you'll be given the stop sign. Candidates will take turns answering questions. This forum will wrap up with a 3-minute closing statement from each candidate. And we will get started with the opening statements. Blake?
Okay, Mark, do you want
to? Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a minute. I'd also, again, like to thank the City of Garden City for providing the venue for tonight's forum. The forum is also live by clicking on the link at thegardencitychamber.net on the Chamber's Facebook page. That'll be available sometime tomorrow. This live event is produced for the Chamber by KDGL TV 23. It will also be broadcast by the City of Garden City on local channel 8. And sorry about that, Blake, but with that, please.
And live on Facebook right now.
Live on Facebook. All right. Well, first of all, thanks for everyone coming out. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, the Telegram for being here. My name is Blake Wassinger. I'm a business owner. I have a private practice here in Garden City. My family moved here in 2011, and I knew no one in Garden City. It wasn't that it came here, I knew of Garden City, and I felt like the opportunity was right for myself and my family. I'm a Western Kansas native. I was born and raised in Hayes on a farm, and education really was my escape, I guess I should say. If anyone's been on a farm, it's manual labor, hard work, and not that it didn't teach me good ethics, work ethics, but my parents were always really good about if I had homework or if I had school activities, I didn't have to go pick up rocks from the fields, fence work, anything like that. So education became a priority for me, and I excelled at it. I excelled at sports, and those were obviously important events in my life. So fast forward, after graduating from doctorate school, coming back here, knew the small town community was something that we enjoyed, making a name for ourselves. I immediately got involved. I was fortunate to be on the United Way, Finney County United Way Board. I've been on it for 6 years, have taken an active role, and that is an active board. I've been president for the past 2 years on that. I do have to step down after this year. I had the opportunity presented that I could be appointed. I got appointed to the Garden City Chamber of Commerce trustee position to fill Ron Schwartz's position after he had passed. And in this last year, I've learned an incredible amount of what goes on at the college, the ins and outs, so much more than I ever knew. It's been a great experience. I stay busy. I have 2 young children. My wife is always supportive of me. You know, I'm always going. Continuing to learn, I think that's a key to life in general. I always try to keep learning. And so I guess if anything, why I chose this or why I want to continue is this. Is I just think education is important for the young students coming out. I think Garden City Community College is part of the community. It incorporates the whole community. It's unique. I want to be a voice for my generation. Obviously, a lot of my generation may not have the opportunity, the time, the commitment to do something like this. I feel it's vital to me. I've had a great career. I have great time. My wife, again, like I said, is supportive for me to do things like this, and I think it is important. I think it's important to keep the education affordable, which I think Garden City Community College has certainly done and is continuing to do. And if anything, I just want to keep or preserve the Garden City Community College's mission statement, which is obviously to produce positive contributors to the economic and social well-being of our society.
Thank you, Mike. Leonard, your opening statement.
I moved to Garden City on January 15, 1976, 41 years ago, which is more than half my life. And I'd venture to say that it's more years than a lot of the folks that are at the college have been out of high school. Being a basketball and football fan, I immediately became a Bronkbuster from the very start. I've attended most all of the football games and basketball games, both home and away, over that period of time. I hardly ever miss an athletic contest that's at home, and I follow all of the other sports, whether it's softball, baseball, all of them. To put it in perspective, I guess, again, I would reiterate that I probably attended more Garden City Community College athletic events than anyone in the community. From the time I moved here, Garden City Community College was a central part of my life and of my community involvement. I spent over 25 years on the board of directors for the Bronkbuster Athletic Association. And during that time, we built that organization into a booster club that was the envy of all the other booster clubs in the conference. I've taught night school at the college for 6 semesters, 3 nights a week. I taught money and banking, managerial finance, personnel administration, and also during that time, I taught an accounting outreach class in Lakin. I've driven a college bus for over 20 years, and I've hauled all of the various teams, different places all over the United States. I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of students, some that are famous today. I've met a lot and have a good friendship with a lot of excellent coaches that have gone through here. And more importantly, I've met a lot of the parents of these students that have come here and formed friendships. You might say, why am I running? Because I believe in Garden City Community College. I believe in the community college concept. Had I not gone right out of high school to a community college, I would have struggled. If I'd have gone to my alma mater, Kansas State University, right out of high school, it would have been a lot tougher for me to achieve my Bachelor of Arts degree. I'm running because I believe in democracy. It's not a democracy if people are not willing to run. I'm also running because I think it's important for us to be willing to serve the public. I do not have any hidden agendas. I do believe, however, that it's healthy if we elect new members to the board, and if you continue to elect the same board members year after year, you don't have the advantage of getting any new thought, any new insight, any new thinking. And it would be too easy for the board to become stuck in that same old rut. I believe that it goes without saying that an educational institution is about education. I do not believe that a 4-year formal degree is for everyone. There should be educational opportunities for those who do not wish to go on to college. Those who would rather start a career, learn a trade, and get into the workforce should have those resources available to them that will prepare them to enter that workforce. A resource that will train them for a career. If someone does not desire going to college, they should still have that opportunity to educate themselves and become a skilled worker and get into the workplace of the community. If you want to call it a trade school, call it a trade school. But that's not a dirty word. In fact, it's an honorable professional development program for members of our society. Higher education is not For all those who want it, it's great. But it should also provide for everybody. I spent over 30 years in banking. I know how businesses work. The taxpayer, the community, are the owners of the college. The taxpayers and the voters elect a board of directors. The board of directors hires a president. It is up to the president to run the day-to-day operations, but it is his responsibility to keep the board informed, and it's up to the board to do the day-to-day or to oversee the day-to-day operations. The president's the link between the school and the board, but the board's responsible to represent the owners of the college, the linking with the public.
Thank you, Leonard. David, your opening statement, please.
Well, I'm David Rupp, and I was born in Garden City and lived in southwest Kansas all my life. Spent the last 40 years in Garden City. I graduated from the college, and after that was on the police force for 23 years. Had another job for a few years and then taught out at the college for the last 10 years. So I've been involved with the college since at least 1975 when I started down here. Once I graduated and got on the police force, we used college students to help with all kinds of training in traffic control, stuff like that, trying to stay involved. I assisted with the board or the endowment board on phonathons and been involved in the community all my life. I've also served on a 3I committee for over 30 years until they moved to Dodge City. I was on the Housing Board Authority for several years, been on the traffic board. I guess being involved in the community has been most of my life. I can remember 10 years old helping clean up after the tornado down here. So I was also a member of the JCs who built one of the gazebos at the park when I was on there. Also, we built the sidewalk along East Garden Village, along Jenny Barker Road, because of a major accident that had killed a 7-year-old. So being involved has been in my blood forever. I'm currently retired, so I have plenty of time to spend on the board. So I did have spoke to certain people about running for the board before, but feeling there may be a conflict of interest, I contacted the Attorney General, and there would have been. There's a statute that says you cannot be on the board if you're an employee of any community college. So that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you, David. Marilyn, your opening statement, please.
Again, I would like to echo the thank yous to the city and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. My name is Marilyn Douglas, and I'm a nurse practitioner. I have been on Garden City Community College Board of Trustees for 3 terms. I'm seeking re-election for my 4th term. 20%. 20% is a number that we've been charged with as a board to maintain our general fund cash reserve. So I'm giving you examples of the excellence that we have maintained as a board. This excellence has been going on for at least the 12 years that I have been serving. 3.5 million. In the past 3 years, Garden City Community College has been able to repair parking lots, replace parking lots, I should say, repair the cooling loop, repair roofing. And that's a pretty wonderful feat to be able to manage a budget and take care of your deferred maintenance. 600. There are 600 community colleges in the Rural Community College Alliance. And guess what? Garden City Community College was named the Outstanding Community College in 2014 of those 600 members. 171. I've attended 171 board meetings over the past 12 years. 8%. 8% is the increase in the enrollment at Garden City Community College from 2011 to 2016. And 4 of 19. Only 4 of the 19 community colleges have been able to say that they've had a positive increase in their enrollment, meaning that 15 have not. So I'm very proud of Garden City Community College for making that effort to improve their enrollment. 151. Last year, we celebrated 151 student athletes who maintained a GPA of 3.0 or better. You think about it, it's hard to maintain a 3.0 anyway, but then to attend practice and games, we're very proud of the excellence that our board demands of our administration and our faculty. 16.1% return on investment in communities that have community colleges in their boundaries. Those people will earn a 16.1% return on their investment because we grow positive contributors that come back and work in our community. 6.5 hours I spent in Roswell, New Mexico airport after Garden City Community College football team won the national conference. And my colleagues know what that means. But I would have to say that the first Friday in May is the best date or the best number. That is the date that we celebrate students walking across the stage and becoming graduates. It is so fulfilling and heartwarming to be able to shake their hands and congratulate them. I myself am a graduate from a 2-year community college in Montana, and I remember leaving my home, tears running down my cheeks, driving away, going to a place that I was not familiar with, but I had faculty, staff, counselors, and an environment that helped me to grow. And because of that environment, I was able to build on that and progress through my education to obtain a doctorate degree. So I'm really proud to support community colleges. A successful community college is underpinned by a board and an administration who work together with a common vision. And that's what we're about. Thanks.
Thank you, Brown. Melvin, your opening statement, please.
Thank you, Mark. And I'd like to thank all of you for attending and thank the Chamber and the city providing these facilities. It's good to see this amount of community involvement, and hopefully a lot of people will watch it on the internet and so forth. Like I said, I'm Melvin Neufeld. Quite a few probably have heard me before. I was born and raised in southwest Kansas. And I like to talk about my great education. I graduated in the top 10 of my class. On top of that, I lettered in 3 sports in 4 years in high school. I'm like John Dahl. I went to Ingalls. There were 7 in my class. And everybody went out lettered because there weren't enough people to play. You went out for a sport, you left for something. The small community schools add a lot to Western Kansas to make us what we are. You know, you've got Garden City is the largest urban center, obviously, in the western part of the state, and a lot of that success is due to people from the small towns, whether it's Leonard, Kingstown, they lost their school. Ingles still got ours. So it's important to remember that while Garden City is the name of our community college, we're really a regional institution. We have a regional responsibility. I'm currently serving an unexpired term of Dr. Clifford. Thank you for going to the county commission and allowing me to serve, Doctor. And I'd appreciate your vote so I could serve another term with the college. You know, I've been through quite a bit. I served 24 years in the House of Representatives, and I spent a lot of time with the universities. I chaired the budgets for the regional system for a number of years in the legislature. So I've been around the colleges, and I can tell you, you have a lot to be proud of in Garden City. The community college here is well managed. You heard some of the figures from Maryland. That's pretty astounding. For example, carrying an ending balance, the cash reserves, so that you don't have to do like the state and some other colleges do, not pay bills the last month of the year because you've run out of money. And you don't have to try to worry about if you have money to pay the payroll to start. And carry that cash reserve forward is just a sign that there's been quality management here for quite some time. And you should be proud of that. The other thing that's really impressed me and made me really proud to be part of Garden City Community College is that the trustees have maintained, and with the policy governance policies we have actually required our administration to keep high academic standards. That's the main important. It's a college, and our main job is to educate, and we put that first, and also to supply the needs, educational needs that come up with businesses, the VOTEC training that needs to be. So I'm very proud to be affiliated with it, and I think you all ought to be very proud of the job that your college has done for you.
Thank you, Melvin. Leonard, we'll start with you. The first question here. What motivated you to run for the Board of Trustees, and do you have a particular issue or platform that you're campaigning on that you would tackle if you were elected?
I can't tell you that I have a particular platform. As I think I said in the beginning, I ran because Garden City Community College has been a big part of my life for 41 years. It's been part of my community involvement. As I said, there are not many athletic contests that I miss, and I'm usually, you ask the coaches and they'll tell you that I'm out there all the time. They probably think I'm getting in their way, but I'm really not. I don't know, the thing that I would say, I've heard for 41 years from people in the community, and I don't believe the community is nearly as involved as they should be, but I've heard for 41 years that nobody really cares about the college. And you look at that last election, you have a 12% voter turnout. That kind of tells you that nobody really does care a lot. And I think we need to get the community to care more about us, to care more about the college, become more involved and understand what's going on out there. I'm not saying there's anything negative. I'm just saying I think that we need to get the community more involved to where they really do care about the college.
Thank you, Leonard. David?
Well, like I said before, I've been interested in the college for many years, worked there for the last 10. I guess I've even considered put my name in for running for the trustees in the past. I just look at it as an opportunity to continue the excellent work that the faculty and stuff is are doing teaching our children. I can say at one point, probably 60 to 80% of the criminal justice students or officers here at the police department were hired from the college. And I think that's what we tend to, and I want to push forward, is try to get everybody a job afterwards. I know that's not possible because everybody has their own standards, but just to maintain the professionalism and work with the community to service the economic needs, whether it be for the dairy plant and welders, but to make sure that we handle all that. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Marilyn?
I chose to run again for my position because I love the job. I mean, it's just very true. This is a perfect job to serve the public. And I treasure the community college. If you think about what our product is, it's students who turn into positive contributors to the society. We need to build and cherish and nurture those students so that they can one day take over our jobs when we all retire. And so it's just an investment in the future. The best part of being on the community college is learning about the administration of the community, of the college. And I've enjoyed that aspect of my job, and I want to continue the excellence that's already been established. I think if I had an agenda, I would say it is to grow the excellence, to demand more excellence from administration and faculty. And I believe that they can do that. And so that's my goal for this year.
Thank you, Marilyn. Melvin?
Thank you. Why am I running? Well, Southwest Kansas has been really good to me. And I think it's important to give back. And obviously enjoy being involved in public service. Giving back through the college, I think, is really important, whether it's the school board or what. Serving in these local offices is an important thing to do, and so that's the reason I'm running. But the question is, do I have an agenda? You bet I've got an agenda. We've got, in Southwest Kansas, a lot of kids that come from families that no one's ever been in higher education. How do we get them involved? How do we bring them in to give them opportunity for the future? How do we help our young people? That's a challenge we've got to face. And actually, if you look at the stats for Garden City Community College, Garden City Community College is light years ahead of everybody else in this state on the percentage of minority students that are attending our college. But we need to do better. The other thing, the other agenda I have, and I just sat through the school board debate, and the community college needs to cooperate as much as possible with K through 12 in our catchment area. All 6 counties, or 6.5 counties, whatever it is. Because we're not doing concurrent education with enough students. A lot of these first generation students we've got out there would be able to make and start in college if they got that start while they were still in high school, get some college hours.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake?
Of course, why I'm running. Like I said before, I think education is a vital part of everyone's life, whether that be a 4-year university, whether that be a community college, trade school, whatever, just learning. It's being a voice for my generation, again, having that opportunity. a fresh face on the board. Being here for the last year, I've learned a lot, and honestly, the last year has been a blur, and I'm still continuing to learn. So, of course, I'm interested, and it's almost enticing or intriguing of what's going on. I want to learn more. It's encapsulating. The board itself is really works well together. I've in the last year, it's just been a great experience. As far as the agenda, you know, academics is always going to be a priority, but to go further with Melvin and Marilyn, you know, increasing concurrent classes with the K through 12, strengthening bonds between four-year universities so it benefits both the community college and us, and the four-year universities. And if they do decide to go on to a four-year university, make it accessible to them. And in my experience, when I was going through school, it wasn't like that, and I know we've made great leaps and bounds, but we can always do better. So I feel like breaking down those barriers and being more involved with the community, what the community needs at the time, being flexible enough to address something that's going to be coming to our community, or believe that something's going to come to our community, and take it with open arms, and really and be prepared. Like I said, be prepared, and I think this college it's light years ahead in a lot of areas, and they're doing a really good job, and the stats show they don't lie at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. Okay, David, we'll start with you on this question.
All right.
Garden City Community College has undertaken several building and renovation projects in recent years, from student housing to parking lot improvements to athletic facilities and others. What do you see as the most urgent facility needs for Garden City Community College moving forward?
I can see that we still need to build. I know that, again, I speak from experience on the instructor side in criminal justice. They're overflowing. They have to move between classes, you know, with the paramedics and the other classes in that building, so there is a need for more classroom space. I know that we needed the dorms. I was on a committee that studied the dorm issues, and some of the dorms that we have need some repair still, but you know, everything is needed out there that I've seen so far. And the more that we can grow this, it just makes our community college more of an attractive position for students to come, which, you know, brings in the students, brings in parents, which in all affects the community.
Thank you, David. Marilyn.
We have made some terrific improvements on the campus at the college, but we also have to be mindful that as we grow the college, we have to grow the infrastructure. And that includes the cafeteria services or the dorms where the students live. So we as a board have been advised by administration that the cafeteria service is pretty full. So that's probably going to be on the agenda for investigation in the near future. The oldest dorm building is over 50 years old. It needs to be replaced, probably. I've been in that dorm, and I would, you know, I know the students are okay with it, but I would like it to be more modernized. And so I think that would be another priority. Probably the online education is something else. I know we didn't talk about, that's not a building, but it is a something that we need to keep growing at our college. So those are the priorities I see.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Mm-hmm.
Melvin.
We see sometimes in the education system in higher ed and K through 12, the tendency of wanting to build for building's sake, build it and they'll come. But what we need to do is follow good business logic in Garden City, which generally has been done here. Not only at the college, but and when you need something, you find a way to affordably finance it or get it built. And we have some needs coming up. Obviously, further work with dorms and dining capacity, some classroom space. I personally have a little concern about with this equine problem we got, the disease problem we got down close to where our rodeo kids keeping their horses, that we need to maybe look at that issue. But the important thing to remember is it has to make business sense, because we're not just going to spend the taxpayers' money and not have a benefit to students. It's really about the education of the students and providing the facilities we need for education.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake?
I think in short, summing up, being sensible with the taxpayer dollars and what's really needed at the appropriate time. You know, the dorm situation, we have certainly improved over the last couple of years, acquiring some great facilities. I think we went from a little over 250 dorms to over 540, if my numbers are correct, and we're actually at full capacity. So that's a good problem to have. There's more to come. More kids will come. We've saved taxpayers quite a bit of money by being able to purchase existing units instead of having to build new building, and that's just being business smart. The cafeteria was addressed to us, and I think it is a legitimate concern. Again, another good problem. We have too many kids that are coming to our school, so we need to feed them more. We can address those in time, make that necessary changes. Some of the deferred maintenance isn't always pretty, but I can tell you that I've had nothing but compliments about the concrete parking lots, how good they look. Those are lasting features that we could have done cheaper, but less effective with asphalt. The concrete's going to withstand it, and our campus is beautiful. We have really a beautiful campus, and we should be really proud of our campus. And it's only going to get better. It just takes time.
Thank you, Blake. Leonard?
I see a lot of things that I really like that's happened out there. And you talk about the parking lots, they needed to be done a long time ago, and they're nice. I used to drive by the campus before, when Dr. Saffel was president. And it used to irritate me because it looked like a brown, burned up desert. And I like to see the campus looking nice. The thing I would stress, though, is I think we need to be very astute in what we do, because none of us really know what's happening, and things are changing so fast. There's so much going on with online courses and people taking and getting degrees online. I don't know right now how you find out just how much growth or building that you need, but I think we need to be very astute. I remember the 80s, and I remember when prime went to 20%, and I remember when we had houses we couldn't sell, we had apartments we couldn't rent. And when we get to thinking there's no tomorrow, take it from an old man, there will be a tomorrow. And I think we need to be very astute in the things that we think about doing from this point on, particularly when we're investing tax dollars that's going to come back from the community.
Thank you, Leonard. Marilyn?
Yes.
We'll start with you in this question. The community college is known for providing a wide array of educational opportunities through its many diverse programs. If elected, are there any particular programs at GCCC that you would like to see grow or be changed in any way? Are there any programs you would like to see added or eliminated at the college?
Each year, the administration reviews programs that are existing in the community or in our college, and they have a set of standards that they use to review that value of those programs. And they look at student enrollment, they look at cost, of the particular program. They look at community need. And so there's a lot of decision-making that goes on in describing or thinking about whether a program continues to exist or we replace it with something else. So I would charge administration to continue that evaluation of the community to determine the community's needs. I think right now we are working on workforce development, but I would like to see that improve. So again, checking in with the community to see if we need more welders or if we need physical therapists or something like that. I am proud of the nursing program. You know, that's my forte, and I would certainly love to see that grow. We did increase the student enrollment in the nursing program 10 students this year. So again, I would say charging administration to evaluate that and then making a judicious decision.
Thank you, Marilyn. Melvin?
It's always important for us to remember that the only thing really important that we do is provide value to the students and through the students to our community. So the things that we need to be looking at that I think as far as adding or changing is the workforce training aspects. That's a continually moving target. We need to be able to respond quickly. That's one reason I think it's so great that we're carrying a cash reserve, because if we need to invest in a program quickly, we're not hindered from doing that. We could move money and do that. So I think the workforce training is critical to the future of Southwest Kansas, and we need to continue to pursue that. The other thing we need to keep an eye on is to make sure that as many of our community college students can articulate up through a bachelor's degree program and improve on that. And so if we need to change curriculum, we need to watch carefully so we fit with the four-year colleges in the state and add value to our students by giving them credit hours at transfer.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake?
Not to defer the question, but under policy governance, and so what I've understood in the year of being force-fed is, you know, as a board, we're there simply to listen to our one employee, the president, and his team of advisors and everyone else do analysis of programs, make sure that they're doing well, the numbers are there, that they meet the community's needs. And it's not really for us board members to say we want this program or not. We can advise, we can certainly suggest, but it's their opportunity to go out and seek and meet the needs of the community. So I think they've done a great job of meeting that with the workforce development, being fluid. It's a fluid model. If something's gonna spike up, just cybersecurity is a new hot topic right now. Having opportunity to jump into something like that, you know, nobody could foresee that maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but it's an issue now. So things like that, having the flexibility, having the ability to move into things like that, with the notion and the stats behind it, to make it a good, sensible addition or removal of the board of the college. So as of right now, I think we're doing a good job, and I just hope to continue to see these evaluations. I hope the nursing program continues to excel. We need that in Southwest Kansas. It's a great opportunity for the partnership with the hospital and the hospitals around. Like I said, I hope to see a lot of other things, all without conflicting with other colleges in the nation or in the area.
Thank you, Blake. Leonard?
Would you repeat that question?
Sure. The community college is known for providing a wide array of educational opportunities through its many diverse programs. If elected, are there any particular programs at Garden City Community College that you would like to see grow or be changed in any way? And are there any programs you would like to see added or eliminated at the college?
You know, the answer to that question, as far as I'm concerned, is very complicated, but there's a lot of things that are not known at this point in time because I don't have any idea where technology is going. And that's one of the things that we probably ought to keep our eye on, is where is the technology going and what are we going to be doing to keep up to date with that? Cyberspace, all of the cyber attacks, all of that, drones, all of those things that we hear about every day. For me to answer that question for you and tell you these are the things I'd like to see, I can't do it because I haven't had the opportunity to really study and verse myself on what I think the direction of technology is going. But we better be up to date with the technology ahead of anything else.
Thank you, Leonard. David?
Well, like I said before, I have to agree with everybody who spoke. We're a community. We deal with the workforce. Being as far as on the side of the instructors, I know that we go through course reviews every year. And I also know that it's hard to predict how many students we're going to have. One year we may have 10 freshmen come into the program. I think something like that last year. This year they got over 30. So it goes up and down. So I agree with Leonard, technology is probably one of the main areas that we probably need to start concentrating on. And just monitor the other programs as it sees fit, The online classes, yes, it's hard to get students here. They can go anywhere and get it online. And we're moving more towards that, teaching at least part of our classes online every time. So continue doing what we're doing and maybe looking more into the technology as far as computer.
Thank you. Melvin, we'll start with you on this one. With its emphasis on vocational technical programs, the college has long been seen as an important partner in workforce development in the region. As a trustee, how would you work to ensure that the college is continuing to do its part to produce the skilled workers that are needed in our community and the surrounding communities as well?
I think that we need to continue the partnership we've had with the local players, with the Economic Development Commission people, with the chamber, with business community. Only when we work together as a team can we all be effective. And there's no way the community college can provide the workers that we need to make Garden City prosperous in the future if we don't work together as a team to figure out who those workers are. So the main thing, I think, as far as workforce development is you have to have a cooperation between all the businesses and the community and the college and work together. And I think it's been working together very well. Steve Martinez of the board is serving on economic development and has a report every month to the board of what's going on, and we'll try to respond as quickly as we can to the needs.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake?
As a community college, it's part of the community, and getting out there, every avenue of the community, finding out what the need is, addressing that to the best of our ability with the most sensible approach, financial approach, to ensure that we make good decisions. But really just getting out there and talking to the people, talking to the business owners, where there's lacking, where there's a need, where, sometimes the business owners know things that are happening in their industry way before, the EcoDevo or something, have insight. EcoDevo has been a great partnership. The chamber, there's bonds being created more so now than ever with technology, with everything around this community, and I think we're making good strides, but like I said, it comes down to just talking to people, being part of the community and getting out there and then listening. You know, it doesn't do any good if we don't listen and we don't respond to that.
Thank you, Blake. Leonard?
Would you repeat the
Sure, no
question?
problem. With its emphasis on vocational technical programs, the college has long been seen as an important partner in workforce development in the region. As a trustee, how would you work to ensure that the college is continuing to do its part to produce the skilled workers that are needed in our community?
Well, it's going to take a lot of study on a lot of people's part, kind of to figure out where they're going in the future. I'd have to agree, one of the biggest things is going out and visiting with the people. I don't know that we do enough of that. I can sit around the coffee shop and hear a lot of stuff going on, but I don't know that it's really the kind of stuff that we are interested in. But somewhere along the line, you got to filter all that out and take the good out of it and then do something with it. But, you know, just come up and give you an answer to that and tell you what I'd like to see, I really can't do that tonight because I'm not that well versed on it.
Thank you. David?
And I'm drawn back on my experience out there as an instructor in tech ed. And part of that tech ed, you have to report to the Perkins every year. Every tech ed program has to have an advisory council, and they have to have meetings with the community members. That's part of the success for the criminal justice is the contacts we've had being on the state boards, KPOA and things like that, which help with enrollment, but we also get the input from other agencies. Currently, next month, we're hosting a regional competition, 5-state competition in the criminal justice area. After going to these things for 10 years, Garden City is the only one that is completely run by volunteers from the community. And we've set a standard, and every instructor that comes in talks about our partnerships. And I think that just needs to continue.
Thank you. Marilyn?
The only thing I would add to what everybody's already said is the avenue of going out into the community and getting those conversations started. That seems to be the trouble or the bugaboo. So some of the things that we've tried in the past, the advisory councils, one time we invited community leaders to come up to the college and just talk to us as a board to tell us what they need. But you know what, when you're put on the spot, you can't think as well about what you need. So I think we need to develop a better way of getting that conversation started, whether it's something, an email or a web-based platform where we can start those conversations. And I would say the other thing that we do well is that we have a good connection with legislators in the state. Our president has good connections up in Topeka, so we hear about what some of the needs that are being served in Kansas. And that also gives us ideas for Garden City and the surrounding community. Thanks.
Thank you, Marilyn. Blake, we're back to you. This is a two-part question. Do you know what the open meeting law is? And if asked by someone, anyone, would you knowingly violate the open meeting law?
Open meeting law. Basically, you know, we all of our, to my understanding, all of our meetings are open for the public. I hope I'm speaking correctly. I guess it's maybe terminology that isn't something I hear all the time. The second part was,
If asked by someone or anyone, would you knowingly violate that open meeting law?
well, I think that's absolutely not. I mean, we don't want to, I mean, the whole purpose of it is we have open meetings, the board, to discuss things for the public to know and to be aware of. It seems kind of silly. Maybe I'm not fully understanding the question, but absolutely not, would not break open meeting laws. So I hope I can answer that, or answered it efficiently.
Thank you. Leonard?
No,
Thank you. David?
I know a little bit about the open meeting law, but everything, no, I don't know. As far as violating them, no. I've been accused in the past of being too honest, and to me, integrity is the biggest thing. That's my life. So, no, I would not violate it. And my understanding, having 3 commissioners or trustees meeting together to talk about the subject would be a violation of that law. So, that's about my knowledge on it.
Thank you, David. Marilyn?
Another word for open meeting law is transparency. So we do strive for transparency. We want our media, we want our community to know what's going on. We invite them to communicate with us. No, I would not knowingly violate an open meeting law. Our administration is very careful, for example, with emails. We have a statement at the bottom of our email that says, do not reply all, because that is a violation of an open meetings law. So we are cognizant of that, and we really do abide by those laws.
Thank you, Marilyn. Melvin?
Having sat through hours of testimony in the legislature on open meeting law, mostly caused by perceived misconduct of elected officials meeting outside of a meeting. The law is designed to make sure that public business is done in public, and that's the way it needs to be done. And anybody that violates the open meeting law should be removed from office now.
There you go.
Thank you, Melvin. Leonard? In July, it was announced that the college had been placed on probation by the Higher Learning Commission after being found deficient in 6 of 24 areas reviewed during an October 2016 site visit. The college is in the process of addressing the compliance issues in advance of a follow-up HLC site visit in late 2018. As a trustee, what will you do to ensure that the college improves on these deficiencies and maintains accreditation with the Higher Learning Commission?
I would want reports weekly on what is being done, the progress that's being made, and if it's not progressing as it should be, then I want somebody being held accountable.
Thank you. David?
Yes, you have to first, what are those violations? How easy are they to fix? Is it something as far as just putting up signs? Like Leonard said, hold somebody accountable. We'd have to get at least monthly meetings, during the trustees on what's being approved, what's keep going, where are we at in the process. Now, I know from a fact from attending some of the meetings that, yes, they get that information. Some of the things that, as far as documentation is being done, faculty is having to document more material, and I'm not sure exactly what violations put them on that probation or what areas. But accountability is the biggest key.
Thank you. Marilyn?
I can tell you that Garden City Community College took this report very seriously, and our president took it very to heart, and he put a plan in place to comply with those regulations. He had to make some choices about staff and how programs are monitored. And he's expecting that compliance from his staff, and we do receive those reports on a monthly basis. So I don't have any worries that our college will be compliant when the HLC returns for their review.
Thank you, Marilyn. Melvin?
I was a little concerned when we heard that we were getting some violations, but I was pleased to know that there was nothing academic. The academic standards of the college were not called into question. It was paperwork. And because Garden City Community College has been run efficiently, some of those people came in to survey from other community colleges, didn't think we had enough administrators. They think instead of spending money on instruction in the classroom, you ought to spend it on administrators. And so we'll have to address that, and we are addressing that. But, you know, I want everybody to understand that the academic standards of Garden City Community College were not called into question, and there's no academic challenges. And so they found nothing wrong with the mission we're doing. All they did was find paperwork problems.
Thank you, Melvin.
I'd have to just move forward with Melvin and say absolutely the academics was spot on. Our finances were in excellent shape. There's nothing with the sports, anything with that as far as accreditation. And it really did come down to documentation. And it wasn't maybe that we weren't documenting, it just wasn't to their liking or maybe as complete. Sometimes that's hard to know until they tell you, yeah, you're doing it wrong. And you know, Dr. Swinder, our president, did take it pretty hard. There was a lot of times where I know he was worked up about it, but I came on the board right before site visit. I probably was a deer in the headlights to them. I had, you know, very little knowledge, but it allowed me to learn a lot. And I think, you know, that as far as the board, we are pretty comfortable and understanding that the site visit was somewhat subjective. It doesn't necessarily fall how our model works in rural Kansas with our policy governance. They just didn't understand that. And you know, it's trying to give somebody a crash course in a foreign language right before you go to the country. It's just, it didn't kind of work. And I have no doubt that when the site visits come back and look at what we're doing, they won't have any problems. I think it's a mere bump in the road, and it's just that.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, I'm going to slip in a couple questions if we have time here from the audience that I got. David, start with you. Is policy, and you guys have several of you referred to policy governance tonight. Is policy governance still a viable way for the trustees to govern the college?
Yes, I believe it is. Because again, they hold the president accountable to meet their objectives and the policies that they've set forth. They still hear from the community. They still hear complaints, and it's still a way to address that. It's similar to any other business. You know, if you come to the city commission and you got a complaint about the police department, the city commission talks to the city manager, whose his main employee is the chief. The city manager doesn't run the town, run the police department. So it's very similar to any other organization. I believe it's still a valid service system.
Thank you. Marilyn.
Policy governance is something that is not well known around here to a lot of the community members, and I have received questions about it. But to tell you the truth, it is what makes this board really work well. It is our policies that we set forward to our president and administration, and there are things like, you know, don't break the law, maintain the budget, keep our environment safe, keep our students safe, provide excellence in education, evaluate programs. I mean, these are simple things that we expect of the president and the administration. What we don't do is micromanage. And that's the beauty of policy governance. We allow our president reasonable interpretation of those expectations, and then he has the freedom to carry out those expectations. It's a marvelous way of governing, and it takes away the issues of bickering, and it allows us as the board to be more cognizant and work on vision. And that's our job, is to set the vision of the college, not administer the college.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Marilyn.
Thank you, and thank you for that question, whoever came up with that. That policy governance works extremely well at Garden City Community College. And it works well because the community and the owners of the college, the public, and the board have basically the same goals and policies. And when you make those the policies of the college, and you say the administration's job is to follow these policies, to make sure that what happens on the campus is what fits our culture, it works amazingly well. I've been very pleased with what I've seen of it. And, you know, I've obviously had a lot of experience with budgets of other colleges that don't work nearly so well because they lose sight. I'm just glad we don't argue about color of paint or when to trade cars.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake.
In short, yes, it absolutely does work. And again, micromanaging, you hear the terms micromanaging or accountability. I'm a business owner, and I am a busy father and a husband. I don't care what color of paint, just get it done and make sure that it's in compliance and everything. And I think that's the key. I want to make sure that it's done right, but we have the president as our one employee, and we hold him to a high accountability with all of our policies. And it's easy to let him be the president, be what we hired him for, take care of the college, and then he reports to us, and vice versa. We report to him, make sure that things are flowing well and doing right. With the HLC, going back to that, again, they were a little unsure of it, didn't quite understand it, and they were concerned how much power or flexibility that the president has, and it does, but like I said, we hold him to a high accountability, and I think that's what's great. And I have the privilege of actually going, it's nice to see, but have the privilege of going to a CCT conference next week, myself and Steve Martinez, and I was happy to see several conferences or sessions about policy governance. I think it's a growing trend, and I think that more colleges are looking into it because of how well it does operate.
Thank you, Blake. Leonard.
Interesting the question would come up, because that's what I've been spending a lot of time on. But as I see it, I don't have any complaints or problems or anything with it. If it's followed the way it's supposed to be, I don't have any problems in it.
Thank you. This will be our last question due to time, because then we'll get into the closing statements. Marilyn, this is another question from the audience here. What are your thoughts on how active, involved trustees should be in the daily operations of the college?
That echoes or goes in line with just the previous question. Board of Trustee members are not to be involved in the daily activities of the college. That's not our job. Our job is to set the vision for the college, and our job is to make sure that our one employee does his job like he's supposed to. So that's my answer. It's not in our job description to interfere in the daily activities.
Thank you. Melvin?
Marilyn said it pretty well. It's not the job of elected trustees to micromanage. It's to make sure that the goals and the desires of the community are fulfilled by properly managing, the board properly managing the administration.
Thank you. Blake?
Again, not to be redundant, but I'm busy as a business owner, a family. I think it's important to understand what's going on in the college, but it is not for me to say this program or that program should be done. It's not the board to necessarily say this is how it's going to be. It's the president. He's informed. He's aware. He has his staff. He reports back to us and gives us the information, and then we make sure that it fits in line with our mission, with our policies, with what the community wants. It's again, the best word is we just don't want to micromanage, and that's not the nature or the job of the trustees. It's to keep long-term vision down the road and ensure the success of the college.
Thank you, Blake. Leonard?
I spent 30 years in banking, and I've been on board of directors in at least 3 of those banks. The president was hired to run the bank, and he is accountable to the board. The only time you get involved if there's something irregular comes up or something that is out of the usual that you need an answer on. If you don't get the right answer, then you have to go a little bit further if you're not satisfied. But as far as micromanaging, that's not the board's place. I don't see where it's a waste of time, and that's not what they're hired for. They're hired to represent the taxpayer, but when you hire a person to be in charge, you let them be in charge. Now, if a problem comes up, then you address it as a board.
Thank you. David?
I have to concur with that. Everybody spoke up here. It's not the board's job. You know, the board is, especially in a community this size, everybody knows who they are. And several of us have been here for most of our lives. They know how to get a hold of us. If there's problems, they'll let us know. And if we need to, we can address it. But micromanaging, I've worked in some of those systems. It doesn't work.
Thank you, David. Okay, now for the closing statement. I remind you, you have up to 3 minutes for this, and Melvin, we'll start with you.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thank the Chamber for sponsoring this, and thank the city and everyone for their participation, and thank all of you that came out tonight. I hope as we have this discussion tonight that you have a little better idea of your college and how your board of directors works. And like I said earlier, I'm very proud to be part of this community college. I think we have great days ahead for Southwest Kansas and Garden City Community College, working together with the other players in our economy are going to be part of making Southwest Kansas even better in the future and provide more opportunity. So I'd like to be part of that, and I'd ask for your vote in November.
Thank you, Melvin. Blake?
Again, thanks to the Chamber and the Telegram and everyone that came out tonight for listening to us. I think all of us can agree we want Garden City Community College to succeed. I have a vested interest in this community since coming here in 2011. It's a big part of it, or a big part of who I am. Academics is obviously a key and important to me. I think that college is not necessarily, or a four-year university may not be for everyone, or they don't know that it's for them. A lot of people struggle in high school. They don't understand the high school model. They get into college and they really like college. Something like GC3 Community College, the Bridgeway can be a tremendous bridge for young students. Whether they move on or not, or a trade school, fine profession, even personal enrichment, part of the community, I think it's valuable. You know, the stats speak for themselves. We just got rated number 6th as most affordable community college within the top 50 within the nation. accolades in the past, top 10% within the Aspen Institute, CNC money rated as number 24th in the nation. It's affordable and it's open for anyone to come to community college, and students that may not think that they can. 96% of our students receive some type of financial aid, whether that be Pell Grants or other grants, scholarships, financial aid. And to even go beyond that, is our default rate is excellent, one of the best within the states, 5.8. We've seen continued growth at the community college over the last several years, something that most other community colleges can't say. Our tuition rates have been minimal increase compared to other universities or colleges. Community college, or Garden City Community College, is doing awesome things. Like I said, there's tons of other accolades. I don't have time for them all, but we're succeeding here, and my kids will be at that age sometime, and I hope and would be privileged for my two children to go to community college as a segue to something above and beyond, or a trade skills. So I just employ everyone to go and vote. We need voter turnout. It's not that hard, and you can make a direct impact. And I hope that you will consider my vote on November 7th, so I can keep learning about the board and continue on to be part of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Leonard.
Why am I running for the board? It's because I believe in Garden City Community College. I believe in the community college concept. I spent 30 years in banking. I understand how businesses work. I know how to read a financial statement. I know how to read a profit and loss statement. I understand that the college is owned by the taxpayer. The voters elect a board to oversee the business of the college. The board then elects a CEO. He's supposed to oversee the day-to-day operation. The president is then accountable to the board. He's the link between the school and the board. The board's responsibility is represent the owners of the college. They're the link to the public. As I said in the beginning, the Board of Trustees is to govern the college through the expression of its policies. And to sum it up, I was a buster from the time I got here, and I'll always be a buster.
Thank you, Leonard. David.
Yeah, thanks to our chamber. One thing that provides is putting a face with the names on the ballot. But I've been a buster like Leonard for over 40 years, been involved in the community, involved in the college, and I want to continue that. And I want to continue to press for professionalism and having us be up there in the top 50 across the nation. All I ask is people get out and vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn.
Thanks to all of the folks that put this together tonight. I know we've mentioned it several times, and I know you two are hanging in there. Thank you. Appreciate it. Community colleges are the brokers of opportunity. So think about that. We have a community college in our area that is providing opportunity for students to become successful contributors to society. Wow, that is pretty powerful, and we need to continue to nurture that. So I personally want to be involved, and I want to continue to do my part to nurture the community college as it grows students and positive contributors. I also think of the community college as a launching pad. You think about we can start here and go anywhere. That's been our logo for a while. Well, it's really true. So the value of having a community college in your boundary is so much more than any of us can really understand. I will strive for more success for students. I will strive for students to begin and graduate at Garden City Community College. I will strive to continue development of the workforce, and I do that through the board and through our expectations that we pass on to administration. I will listen. I appreciate a community member coming up to me and telling me what's going on, and I also appreciate that they have suggestions for improvement. The college is planning to work on their infrastructure, and we are looking at our buildings. We do look at programs, and we are mindful of the budget, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. I would appreciate your vote in November, and please come out and support the community college any chance you get. Come and watch a game, come and watch a play, come and see a concert. We really like having the community come and visit.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thanks.
On behalf of the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank Blake, Leonard, David, Marilyn, and Melvin for being here tonight. I again would like to thank the City of Garden City for providing the venue for tonight's forum. And again, you should be able to click on this sometime tomorrow. Early on the GardenCityChamber.net. You should be able to find that link. You should be able to find it on Facebook, the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce Facebook page as well. There were a number of questions. I had a couple of questions left that were prepared, and a number from the audience. I'm sorry we were not able to get to all of them tonight, but in honor of the time that we said we would try to conclude this, we are concluding it, and ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our candidate forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV 23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV 23. Life's a little different here in Southwest Kansas. We do things our own way with a can-do spirit and strong family values, which means we treat people right, and we want the best value for our dollar. The same is true about United Wireless. We aren't like the national brands. We treat our customers like family. We provide excellent service and simple, easy-to-understand plans that will save you money. We are United Wireless, and we are Southwest Kansas proud.